So friends, now we are on the new topic, economic laws, which carries a weightage of 30 marks in your exam. This is for 30 marks. Now 30 marks you can write the answer for. Actually the questions as in the exam may be 36, maybe 40 marks. So don't get confused by that. The paper will be set in such a way so that you cannot answer for more than 30 marks out of this area. Okay? In this portion, 6 laws are there. 6 laws. So effectively, 5 marks for each law. But out of 6, I presume that 4 will be there in the exam and 2 will not be there. Which 2? We don't know. Okay? Number 1 is Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. Number 2 is Securitization Act. So actually the title is quite long. This is 2002. This is just a short name, securitization. So actually this is securitization and reconstruction of financial assets, long title, right? Number 3, this is Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. This will have less weightage in the exam. Next one, this is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. This is 2010. Number 5, Arbitration and Conciliation Act. This is 1996. And number 6, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. This is 2016. Out of these 6, I presume any 2 are not going to be in the exam. And these 4 are the topics out of which 2 are going to be there in the exam and 2 are not going to be. So these are the subjects where you can pick and choose something. But as far as Fema is concerned, it is bound to be there in the exam. IBC is concerned, it is bound to be there in the exam. And quite possible these 2 carry a weightage of 10 marks each, and these 2, these are only 10 marks. So this is about the economic laws. And now let us start with the first one, that is Fema, Foreign Exchange Management Act. Okay? So this is Foreign Exchange Management Act. First thing is that this is about foreign exchange. This is not only about foreign currency. Foreign currency, comparatively, it is a very narrow term. Foreign exchange is a much wider term. When we come to the definition, I'll explain you what is the meaning of foreign exchange exactly. And this is talk about the management, right? Now, when this is the act, what is the object of this law? When you study the law from the point of view of the object, it becomes easy to understand. So, object is, number 1, this is facilitating payments in the course of international business. Keep in mind first word. This is talking about facilitating. Whatever obstructions are possible, whatever difficulties can be foreseen, but this act is there for facilitating. So except where certain transactions are prohibited, everything else is going to be facilitated. And number two, this is about orderly development So what is required is development of forex market in India, but the development should be in the orderly manner. This is a very, very important thing, and this is what the management is. So we want a development of forex market in India, so where the exchange and availability of forex becomes easier. It is already substantially easy. And if I tell you that really Fema does not exist for a common person, because so much of exemptions have been given, so that a common person really does not feel that there is anything like Fema. Okay. Now where does this act apply? Applicability of this act. Now applicability is, we can divide in two ways. This applies to every person in India. So whether he is resident or non-resident, if he is in India, provisions are applicable. And then this applies to every person resident in India, even when he is outside India. So provisions, if the person is in India, so whether resident or non-resident, provisions are applicable. But when it is a person resident in India, if he is in India, he is covered there. When he is outside India, he is covered there. So this is one law which applies even when a person resident in India happens to be beyond the limit, beyond the Indian limit or outside India. So generally Indian laws are not applicable outside India, but this is one law which applies only to person resident in India even when he is outside India. Okay. Now in this act we can broadly divide for the purpose of exam in two categories. One is definitions which are covered under section 2, and then we have other provisions. All the definitions are covered under section 2, and the relevant definition are clause E, clause J, clause M, clause N, clause U, clause V. This is capital account transaction. Then here we have current account transaction. This is foreign currency. This is foreign exchange. I told you some time back that I'll elaborate what is foreign exchange when we come to the definition. This is under section 2, clause N. Clause U, this is person. Clause V, this is person resident in India. Now, as far as capital account transaction is concerned, this is to be read with section 6 plus regulations for capital account transactions. Current account, this is to be read with section 5 plus regulations, but these regulations are in relation to current account transactions. And then other provisions, section 3 to section 9, these are actually forex management provisions. Section 10 to 12, these deal with authorized person. Section 13 to 15, these are penalties and compounding. And then section 16 to section 19. So I'm limiting it to section 19. Actually, the act goes much beyond that. These are special provisions in relation to appeals. Right? So what is important here? Capital account transactions read with section 6 and regulations. Current account transactions read with section 5 and regulations. So these section 5 and 6 are already covered here. Okay? Then other provisions will be section 3, section 4, section 7, section 8, section 9. Then 10, 11, 12 up to section 19 only. This is exam oriented area. The act is much beyond section 19, but that is not in relation to exam. Then foreign currency, foreign exchange, these are the only definitions for understanding for the purpose of act. There is nothing, no exam orientation. Person, again, it will never be asked in the exam. The most important definition, number 1, number 2, number 3. If you can focus on these 3, understand each and everything crystal clear way, then the chances, or you can say 75% chances of question out of Fema is automatically taken care of. Questions out of this portion once in a while, question out of these 3, these are something very, very regular. Okay, so this is only introduction about the economic laws and beginning of Fema. In the beginning, I have told you what is the object of the act and also the applicability and coverage which we are going to cover and exam orientation therein. Formally, we will start in this video, or rather in Fema from the next video onwards.